means what? Is object of the Suhrut. Okay. The object of the Suhrut is generally all living entities, but here it is relatives. Means being very specific here. Relatives of Lord Krishna. So Suhrudam means become relatives of. Cha also. Vishokaya are pacifying them. Swashuhu, the sister. Cha and Priyakamyaya for pleasing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Hari, or Lord Sri Krishna, resided at Hastinapura for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister Subhadra. And repeat the translation. Sri Hari, or Lord Sri Krishna, resided at Hastinapura for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister Subhadra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna was to start for Dwaraka, his own kingdom, after the battle of Kurukshetra and Yudhishthira is being enthroned. But to oblige the request of Maharaj Yudhishthira and to show special mercy to Bhishma Deva, Lord Krishna stopped at Hastinapura, the capital of the Pandavas. The Lord decided to stay especially to pacify the aggrieved king as well as to please Subhadra, sister of Lord Sri Krishna. Subhadra was especially pacified because she lost her only son Abhimanyu, who was just married. The boy left his wife Uttara, mother of Maharaj Parikshit. The Lord is always pleased to satisfy his devotees in any capacity. Only his devotees can play the part of his relatives. The Lord is absolute. This is the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devye Gauravani Pracharine Vilesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we will be covering this verse 7 and go up to verse 12. So here in this particular translation, the context, as we all know, is that Lord Krishna, on the request of Yudhishthira, he did not just go away after the battlefield of Kurukshetra was over, after the war of Kurukshetra. He didn't just go away immediately the next day. He stayed for a while in Hastinapura to give pacification, rather to give solace to those relatives of his, the devotees, who are extremely aggrieved by this large war. So even though the devotees, they would act on behalf of the Lord as a matter of duty, but it doesn't mean that they're happy with that thing, right? The outcome of war is always painful, right? So they're aware, but still they had no other option but then to do that duty. So having done that, having suffered the consequences of it, so now they're looking forward to Lord to just to pacify them. And Lord is also not a one who is, very official in nature. Okay, I've done my work, now I'm going. He is very sensitive to those devotees who have gone beyond their call of duty and they have done their service to him, right? So Lord is very, very sensitive. Here some of the words, very interesting words which we have to look forward to are, as we said, Suhridam is not all living entities. Normally, when we say Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, in that context of that verse of Bhagavad Gita, he is Suhridam of Sarvabhutanam. But here, Prabhupada did not use all living entities. He used only his relatives. That's again because that's what it is. So, Lord is obtainable to only to his devotees, and only his devotees can become his relatives. And again, the word swasu is not sisters. Of course, it is a not a plural word; it's a singular word. Okay, the word used Prabhupada used as the sister, own sister. Okay, so again, it is only showing that there is some specific role played by Subhadra as the only sister of Lord Krishna. Okay, and Priya Kamya, yeah. Lord actually wanted to please the devotees. Okay, please his relatives. Lord is one who is absolute, who has nothing to do with any of this movements of this material world. But still, because the material world is also part of him, and he had sent pure devotees, right? Pure devotees have also, they can be there nicely in the Vaikuntha. But with the mission of the Lord, the pure devotees come down. So when such kind of pure devotees come down for the mission of the Lord also reciprocates. And the Lord actually lives in this material world only for the reciprocation, for the purpose of with his, sincere devotees. Otherwise, he has, in the connection with him, with this material world is like that of a Paramatma. Just only Padashta Anumanta, like that. So only his devotees can play the part of his relatives. Next, I will read myself that verse. Amantraya chabhyanudnataha parishvajabhivadai vadyatam aruroho ratam kakaische parishvakto bhivaditaha. Amantraya, taking permission, cha, and abhyanudnataha, being permitted. Parishvajya, embracing, Abhivadya, bowing down to the feet, Tam, unto Maharaj Yudhishthira, Aruroha, ascended, Ratam, the chariot, Kaishchit, by someone, Parishvaktaha, being embraced, Abhivaditaha, being offered obeisances. Translation and purport by Sri Venkateswara Sabhai Chandrarvinda, Afterwards, when the Lord asked permission to depart, and the king gave it, the Lord offered his respects to Maharaj Yudhishthira by bowing down at his feet, and the king embraced him. After this, the Lord, being embraced by others and receiving their obeisances, got into his chariot. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Yudhishthira was the elder cousin of Lord Krishna, and therefore, while departing from him, the Lord bowed down at the king's feet, and the king embraced him as a younger brother. Although the king knew perfectly well that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the Lord takes pleasure when some of his devotees accept him as less important in terms of love. No one is greater than nor equal to the Lord, but he takes pleasure in being treated as younger than his devotees. These are all the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The impersonalists cannot enter into the supernatural roles played by the devotee of the Lord. Thereafter, Bhima and Arjuna embraced the Lord because they were of the same age, but Nakula and Sahadeva bowed down before the Lord because they were younger than him. So here also we see that the Pandavas' level of devotional service is so high, so great, that Lord himself has personally become their relatives. Personally became their, whatever things he has done. He's become an ambassador. He's gone to the Dhritarashtra, convey the message of the Pandavas, and so many personal things the Lord has done. Such a great is the Lord's position. And while Lord was doing all of those things, the difference between the Pandavas and the Gopis or the Vrajavasis is what? Pandavas still understand that Lord is doing all of those things. He is Lord Krishna, is Lord Vishnu himself. Aishwarya with Aishwarya Bhava. Okay. But Aishwarya Kshitila Prema Nahi Mora, something is there. I forgot that Chaitanya Charitamrita verse. Okay. Which says that, Aishwarya, because Aishwarya Bhava to an extent actually diminishes the devotional service. Okay. So when Narada went to Dwaraka, and when Krishna was making Narada to sit on the bed and then nicely give him the Pad Puja, Narada was aware that, oh, here is Lord Vishnu himself is doing all of these things. What I can do, I can only pray to him. Right? So that is with the bhavana of that he is a supreme personality, God. But he still wanted to do that as a thing. I'm just receiving and again offering it back like that. See, you see, that is the thing. But whereas the the level of devotion of the gopis or the gopas of the Vrindavan was that they don't even know that Lord Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. They are simply so much attracted to Krishna. So we see here the Bhima and Arjuna embraced the Lord because they were of the same age, and Nakula and Sahadeva bowed before the Lord because they were younger than him. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tata Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamau Mrigodarascha Domyascha Sriyo Matsya Sutadayah Nase Hire Vimuhyanto Viraham Sharangadanvanaha. Subhadra, the sister of Krishna, Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, Kunti, mother of the Pandavas, Virata Tanaya, the daughter of Virata, Uttara, Tata also Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, the father of Duryodhana, Cha, and Yuyutsuhu, the son of Dhritarashtra by his Vaishya wife, Gautamaha, Kripacharya, Yamau, the twin brothers Nakula and Sahadeva, Rukodaraha, Bhima, Cha, Daumyaha, Daumya, Cha, and Striyaha, also other ladies of the palace. Matsya Sudadayaha, the daughter of a fisherman, Satyavati, Bhishma's stepmother. Na could not. Sehire tolerate. Vimuhyantaha, almost fainting. Viraham, separation. Sharanga Danvanaha of Sri Krishna, who bears a conch in his hand. Translation and purport by Shri Venkateswara Sabai Charana Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadeva, Bhimasena, Daumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive for the living beings, especially for the devotees, that it is impossible for them to tolerate separation. The conditioned soul, under the spell of illusory energy, forgets the Lord, otherwise he cannot. The feeling of such separation cannot be described, but it can simply be imagined by devotees only. After his separation from Vrindavana, from the innocent rural cowherd boys, girls, ladies, and others, they all felt shock throughout their lives. And the separation of Radharani, the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. Once they met at Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse, and the feeling which was expressed by them is heartrending. There is, of course, a difference in the qualities of transcendental devotees of the Lord, but none of them who have ever contacted the Lord by direct communion or otherwise can leave him for a moment. That is the attitude of the pure devotee. What is the attitude of the pure devotee? The attitude of the pure devotee, irrespective of whatever is the stage of the devotee, be it with Aishwarya or without Aishwarya, bhava. The feeling of separation is something which is very, very intense. That it is impossible to tolerate separation. What is the first quality in the Bhagavad Gita that one should learn? Matra sparashastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha agama nityas tam stitikshasva bharata. So the first quality in the Bhagavad Gita is to tolerate. But here, the pure devotees are not able to tolerate. But there's a difference, right? The ordinary material emotions, material feelings that comes out of the action between the sense and the sense object. Each could be anything, any of the 11 senses. That needs to be tolerated. Okay. But there is another toleration that is impossible to tolerate. That is the separation from the Lord. You see here, interestingly, Prabhupada has used Dhritarashtra and Gandhari also. Gandhari is the one who has apparently cursed Krishna. That you should leave this world using that whatever, the stone or whatever. Right? But still, Lord Krishna, by his actions, has pacified Gandhari and Dhritarashtra also. So much so that even they could not bear the separation from Lord Krishna. And so much so, they have been equated by Bhagavatam. Okay. Among with such great devotees like Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, they are great devotees. Gandhari is not a great devotee. She's only just an ascetic. She's just a yogi, right? Yogini, right? But, they have been equated here because they also nearly fainted out of separation from Lord Krishna. So, the conception of Krishna as Lord Vishnu, they may not have understood. But still by his very actions, okay, by his very, the way he has dealt with them, they cannot forget. Like recently, I went to one hospital for a checkup. So they actually give us free treatment for the devotees. So this was the first time I went and met the main man, okay, who's like a director or something like that of that organization, who is the one who has checked me also. So then I met the one person who was taking me around with all the, helping me in all of those procedures and things like that. I just casually asked him, for how many years you are working? I casually asked him, for how many years you are working? He said, I'm working here for more than 25 years, he said. I said, wow, so nice. He said, sir, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದವರು. I mean, he's saying in his Kannada, okay, that, the boss is very, very nice person. He's a gem of a person. Okay. So, like that under is saying. So I was reflecting what this compounder knows. He does not know anything about that instruments, that big, big scanning equipment, nothing he knows. Okay. Right? He does not know how he is operating, that other man is operating, what is the anxieties of his tension and all of those things. Nothing he knows. But the fact that he has his relationship, the small relationship, okay, that is something is very, very satisfying to him and is happy. Right? So here also if you see, Lord Krishna is the one Vishnu who is the entire creator of the entire universe. Gandhari did not appreciate that much. Dhritarashtra did not appreciate that much. But the fact that, Krishna by his actions has pacified such, they are like enemies actually, but Krishna has no enemies, right? He is actually the Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, right? So by his actions, even though they are ignorant of his extent of his powers, okay, they were so happy that they nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. It is natural for every living entity that a living entity, after coming in touch with such a pavitram, okay, they cannot bear the separation of Lord Krishna. So this also behooves us that in every interaction, how we ourselves should be acting. Like how a devotee is a well-wisher for everybody in this world, in the society, right? Our actions and the way we speak, okay? All of those things should actually reflect that we are actually the well-wishers of them. So now next we'll go on to the next one. Satsangan mukta dussango hatum notsahate buddha kirtyamananam yusho yasya sakrit akarnyarochanam tasminyasta diya partha saheran viraham katam darshana sparshana samlapa shana sana bhojane. This is a very important verse for us. Maybe you can repeat once more. Satsangan mukta dussango hatum notsahate buddha kirtyamananam yasho yasya sakrutakarnyarochanam tasminyasa partha saheran viraham katam darshana sparsha samlapa shana sana bhojanai satsangat by association of pure devotees. Mukta dussanga, freed from bad materialistic association. Atum, to give up. Now utsahate, never attempts. Buddha, one who has understood the Lord. Kirtyamanam, glorifying. Yashaha, fame. Yasya, whose. Sakrat, once only. Akarnaya, hearing only. Lochanam, pleasing. Tasmin, unto him. Nyastadya, one who has given up his mind unto him. Partha, the sons of Pritha. Saheran, can tolerate. Viraham, separation. Katam, how? Darshana, seeing eye to eye. Sparsha, touching. Samlapa, conversing. Shayana, sleeping. Asana, sitting. Bhojanai, dining together. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ho. It's a wonderful purport. Please pay full attention. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him eye to eye, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. You know what is the thing here saying? If a person is in satsanga, good association, and say given a bad association or materialistic association, he is given. If that person hears even once wonderful glories of Lord, that will be just sticking into that person's heart. So how we have to say sometimes, no, Prabhu, I forgot something Prabhupada said in that statement, or in that class will not be attentive, right? All these things are happening because we are not following that previous two principles. What is the previous two principles? Good association and giving up bad association. Accepting good association and giving up bad association. If you do that consciously, even if once we hear the glories of the Lord, what happens? We can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard Him only once. We always want to hear. Okay. But then, how about Pandavas? How can they tolerate? They've been constantly in touch with Lord Krishna. They're seeing Him eye to eye, associated with His person. They're touching Him, conversing with Him, sleeping with Him, sitting with Him on the same chairs, whatever, right? And dining with Him as though they're family member. So if now Lord Krishna is leaving them, how can they tolerate? The tolerance is just not possible. That separation is just not possible to accept. Purport. The living being's constitutional position is one of serving a superior. He is obliged to serve by force the dictates of illusory material energy in different phases of sense gratification. And in serving the senses, he is never tired. Kamadina katida na parida durnishdeshaha. That is the one Avanti Brahmana's verse, properly translated. Even though he may be tired, the illusory energy forces him to do so without being satisfied perpetually. There is no end of such sense gratificatory business, and the conditioned soul becomes entangled in such servitude without any hopes of release. The release is only affected by association of pure devotees. So, what is happening between moving from bad association to good association is that we are getting attracted to the sense gratification. We are doing serving to the senses. But service to the senses, even though you're doing for lifelong and for many multiple lifetimes, you're not satisfied and you don't want to do, no, still the sense will drag you. No, you have to serve. You have to serve me. Kamadina, Khatida, Marita, Dunnideshaha, like that. By such association, one is gradually promoted to his transcendental consciousness. By associating with the pure devotees, Prabhupada, right? By such association, one is gradually promoted to his transcendental consciousness. Thus, he can know that his eternal position is to render service unto the Lord and not to the perverted senses in the capacity of lust, anger, desire to lord it over, etc. So we are actually serving all of those things, anger, lust. These are all the different various slices of ego which are there in us. We are serving them, desire to lord it over. The material society, friendship and love, so-called divinely bestowed upon man. That's not divinely bestowed on man, Prabhupada says. It is an illusion. So material society, friendship and love, all are different phases of lust only. Home, country, family, society, wealth, and all sorts of corollaries are all causes of bondage in the material world, where the threefold miseries of life are concomitant factors. Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, Adivika Kleshas are part of this, part of our, this world. See, it's like this, in a jail, unless you are put in a binding, a place where you can be bound, you cannot be lashed, right? If Maya has to lash you, first you have to hold something tightly, correct? And be in that grip. That is the problem. Why we are getting thoroughly these threefold miseries again and again? Because these are like concomitant. Concomitant means what? Parallel. It is going on simultaneously. So why it is happening like this? Because why I am getting beatings, Prabhu, from Maya? Because I am holding Maya. If I don't hold Maya, I will not get any of the beatings. But then what happens? We will think that material society, friendship, and love are divinely bestowed upon man. And then we will think, "Arey no, yaar. Hmm. All these are all causes of bondage in the material world, where the threefold miseries of life are concomitant factors. By associating with the pure devotees and by hearing them submissively, attachment for material enjoyment becomes slackened, and attraction for hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord becomes prominent. Hmm? By continuously attaching with the devotees, pure devotees, and hearing submissively. Hmm? What is it by hearing submissively like this? There is one statement in the Bhagavatam. What is the statement in the Bhagavatam? What will happen? Hmm? By hearing submissively Lord Krishna's names and activities. This is a beautiful verse. Of course, that is true also. No problem. That's right. There's one nice verse which is told by Lord Brahma in his prayers to Lord Krishna after the Brahma Vimohana Leela. Sthani sitan shrutigatan tanuman manobihi yaprayasa jitah jitopisan. Right? So, we did not do anything. Just sit in the association of devotees and keep on hearing the Lord's glories. And then what happens? Attachment for material enjoyment becomes slackened, and attraction for hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord becomes prominent, and you will be able to even control Lord. Right? Even the Lord who is Ajitaha, who can never be conquered, but he become conquered by the love. Once they will go on progressively without stoppage, like fire in gunpowder. See what is the nice example Prabhupada gave? Huh? It will go on progressively without stoppage. What is that? That attraction for the Lord, for these activities will just go on progressively without stoppage, like fire in the gunpowder. We should understand what is this fire in gunpowder means. How they used to ignite. If you see one huge firang, okay, so they'll put one big iron ball in front, right? And behind they will put some lot of gunpowder. Huh? And from distance they will just lit it immediately, right? That it becomes a blast, and that big iron ball just goes out and hits, right? So like that, the attraction for the thing is progressively without stoppage, like the fire in the gunpowder. Like that. So it is in the gunpowder, it is so instant. If you put fire, tuck, it will. It is said that Hari, the personality of Godhead, is so transcendently attractive that even those who are self-satisfied by self-realization and are factually liberated from all material bondage also becomes devotees of the Lord. Hmm? Under the circumstances, it is easily understood what must have been the position of the Pandavas, who were constant companions of the Lord. They could not even think of separation from Sri Krishna because the attraction was more intense for them because of continuous personal contact. His remembrance by his form, quality, name, fame, pastimes, etc. is also attractive for the pure devotee. So much so that he forgets all forms, quality, name, fame, and activities of the mundane world. And due to his mature association with the pure devotees, he is not out of contact with the Lord for a moment. So, what do we understand from this? That, you know, actually, this material form is a big burden for the devotees. Moment we see some form, we get attracted. Then again we get disgusted. Why am I getting attracted like this? Right? We try to come back. We keep on dragging back our attention towards Krishna, attention towards the satsanga, like that. So material form is actually troublesome. The form is troubling the devotees. But how the same thing can be attractive? By remembering constantly the transcendental form of the Lord, His qualities, His name, activities, fame, etc. These are all naturally attractive for the pure devotee. So we should also remember in that way that how the Lord is attractive. Say no, Prabhu, we are not so attractive. What would about ourselves? But we have within us, a tendency to look and compare and take inspiration from. You can see in the life of Prabhupada, how much he has done the service to Krishna. So much so that, Lord was personally reciprocating with him in so many ways. Hmm? When Prabhupada was trying to do so many things in India, what was happening? Krishna was taking away everything with 10 hands. Huh? Prabhupada wanted some results to happen. Krishna was taking away with 10 hands. So Prabhupada used to say, if you are doing with 2 hands and Krishna is taking away with 10 hands, what you can do? Huh? So, but he never gave up in all the circumstances. His service to his spiritual master. He wanted to go demonstrate that how one should be very serious in going back to Godhead. Even though that's an impossible mission, you keep attempting. Keep attempting. Right? So then Prabhupada was doing that. So when he went to the United States for the first 1 year, also a lot of difficulties, right? Hmm? A person who had heart attacks, 2 times heart attacks, he goes to the United States, and that happened to be the worst winter New York has ever seen its recorded history. Imagine, so much of trouble Prabhupada would be going through. It's very cold. It was snowing. Prabhupada didn't have enough clothes. Dr. Mishra had to go and purchase some extra, winter clothes for Prabhupada. Hmm? So much cold it was, but Prabhupada was managing. So everywhere, Krishna was taking away things with his 10 hands. Then suddenly Krishna started giving to Prabhupada with his 10 hands. What he can do, what he can manage. So that also he was trying to manage. You see? So when we hear these kind of stories and pastimes, how nice it will be for us, right? How nice we feel that, see, we are having such a great spiritual master who was personally, kind of tested, directed, by Lord Krishna himself. So we'll feel so great, right? So then it comes in our own small life. In our small life also, Lord has put his hand. So that is also something we have to continuously remember. Hmm. Many times that negative things which will happen in our life, they will be so much bothering us. But the thing is that if you see, ideally speaking, how it should be, you should feel always separation from Lord Krishna. But instead of feeling separation from Lord Krishna, what we'll feel? We'll feel attached to our sufferings. Hmm? There's one nice quote here, no? You see, there's one nice quote, second quote. What is the second quote? Somebody can read loudly. Huh?
The pure devotee is aware that since nothing is unknown to Supreme Personality of Godhead, he need not be informed of devotees' convenience and inconvenience. A pure devotee knows that there is no need to ask the absolute truth for any material necessity.
See, a pure devotee is aware that Lord is aware of my sufferings. So hence, because Lord is all-knowing, since Lord is all-knowing, He knows all of my sufferings, right? And hence it is not required to even ask. But we don't ask also, but we keep thinking. Correct, no? We keep thinking about our sufferings, small sufferings. No, 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 no. I was told I should not ask, but I keep thinking because mind is having what is that? Two contaminations: karma contamination and jnana contamination. What is karma contamination? Say there is one problem is there. Mind thinks I should solve the problem. Right? That is karma contamination by my own activities. I will do like this, I will do like that, I will do like this, I will do like that, and hence I solve the problem. I'll not ask Krishna. I'll not ask Krishna about solving the problem. I will only solve the problem, but this is a problem. Okay. Next is what is another contamination? Jnana contamination. Okay. I made this many attempts. Maybe like this, if I do, it will happen. I'll solve the problem. Like this, I will do, this happen. No, 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 that person also tried. It has not happened. Maybe that person has not done like this. Now I'll do like this. Means what? I am of a opinion that I can lord it over this world by my intelligence. I can solve the problems by my intelligence. I can solve the problems by my actions. And hence I meditate on the problems instead of meditating on Krishna, his activities, the spiritual master, his activities like that. Of course, it is easy to say, very difficult to practice, but we have to make an attempt seriously. You have to constantly think and try and work in that direction. Like that. So once we do that, you know, that separation, which is the feeling of separation which the Pandavas have gone through. I don't think we can anyway experience it, but at least we can get a small glimpse of it. Small glimpse of it. When you have an attraction to a person, and when the person leaves you and goes away for far away places, okay, then you would remember that person also constantly, very regularly, right? Because love is the basis, attraction is the basis. So when Krishna is saying that, Suridam, you see the words which are used here, sparsha, darshana, very nicely words used. Darshana, sparsha, samlapa, shayanasya, shayanasana, bhojanai, saheran means they are, how can one tolerate? Hmm? Sahana, saheran, can't tolerate. How can one can tolerate? Gram. So Lord is so close to these devotees, and hence, they couldn't even tolerate the separation from them at all. So this is what it is. We would like to stop here if anybody has any questions.
Mr. Babu, see, you have to learn from Srila Prabhupada's this Bhagavatam and his life. For example, his initial thinking was that I develop business, I make a lot of money, and I not contribute to the cause of not in this ISKCON mission, but he had his own that time. So, but Lord wanted it actually in a different way. That's why she said he took away the 10 acts and he was giving 10 hands. So how do we learn from this and then try and do it in our life? So is that wrong to think by, you have to do certain things to, let's say, be successful in order to contribute, let's say, monetary, for example.
Say Prabhupada is all-knowing, pure devotee. Then you should know what is Lord's mind. Why he has worked hard to earn money and give. Huh? Huh?
Lord will give another 10 tasks.
Correct, no? Prabhupada is all-knowing. He would have known all the Lord's mind. Correct? He should have done like that, no? He should have asked Krishna, Krishna, what do you want? Tell me. No, Krishna will not tell. Huh? Correct, no? When Brahma paid obeisances to Krishna after doing that mischief with him, huh? He tried to read the mind of Krishna. Not possible. Not possible. Krishna was very grave. So Brahma didn't know whether have been excused or not excused. क्या सजा मिलने वाला है पता नहीं. Huh? How he will get chastised, he does not know. Huh? Right? So Krishna is always very personal. He is very personal with each of us. Okay. So in our case is different. See, in our case we are Baddha Jivas, right? We are Baddha by some what you call material things, and hence we have to learn something. And Lord will use his our karma to make us learn something. But Prabhupada is not a person who will have to learn something because he's already a pure devotee. Okay. But he is using but Lord is using Srila Prabhupada to demonstrate certain principles in the Lord is using the pure devotees, Pandavas, to demonstrate a principle only. Not that they are affected by that karma. They are not affected by karma. They are above karma. Okay. So like that we should understand that, there is some particular principle which, Lord wanted Srila Prabhupada to demonstrate. That's all. It means that much only. But in our case, it is something, wherein there is some kind of a bondage that we have to probably understand from. That's why he has put those things to us. So we have to this question of self-reflection. Okay, what is a particular thing? Right. Anybody has any questions online? Okay. So now we will stop the session. Once again, someone says this. Okay. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada.